Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another Zagger Test Extreme. It is I, your friend, the one, the only, ZA Single God, Zaggard. And I hope you're all having a wonderful morning, noon, night, evening, whatever time it is for you today. Welcome back to the Dragon's Den, my beautiful friends. Hello, Quiet. Hello, Yuki. How are you all doing? It is Monday, Mantabulous Monday, and you know what I just saw last night? I saw Spooderman No Way Home. That's right, I saw Spooderman No Way Home. That's how we're gonna say it now. Spooderman No Way Home. But before we talk about Spider-Man, I have to go over something kind of important. I'm sorry I'm late, and there's actually a very good reason why I am 20 minutes late in my stream. My TV almost fell off of my table and broke. I'm not exaggerating, literally. I was getting ready to start the stream around 2. I was gonna set all this stuff up that I have set up here. I was looking around. I was getting my my jacket ready. If you can't tell what kind of jacket this is, I was getting my special Spider-Man underwear on, and then all of a sudden I just hear, I literally just hear that sound from the other room, and I'm like, what broke? Because it sounded like glass. And I go over, and Claire's like, I don't know, something just fell behind the TV out of nowhere. And I go look, and so our TV is, it's a pretty big TV. My parents gave it to me for Christmas for 2 years ago, and then I didn't get any birthday presents that year because, you know, it's such a big TV. But I had to get a special stand for it because otherwise I couldn't put it on a table, because it came with these 2 little tiny legs that literally, this is how big the legs were, and they were on the far ends of it. So if you put it on a table, it was just gonna fall. The point is, I got a special stand, and you know, we had to move all that stuff when we moved here. And I see the TV, and normally the TV is flat like this, and I go behind the TV to look at it, and this TV and the stand are supposed to be screwed in like this. The TV was literally like that, like hanging off, like literally like this. Like, this is the stand, and the TV was barely being held on by a couple of screws. And I tried to fix it, and it wouldn't. The screws wouldn't catch. They wouldn't catch. If you know how screws work, most people do, but I'm just gonna explain it anyways. They have the teeth of the screw, which is the spiral on the screw, and then on the inside where the screw turns, you know, that's the thread that it needs to thread through, and it wouldn't catch. It would screw in and then pop out, and screw in and pop out. And me and Claire are holding a giant TV over doing this, and so I had to call my dad to come over and bring us some tools, and he brought some Teflon tape. If you don't know what that is, it's used for plumbers. You wrap it around the teeth of some, usually you do it on piping, so that way you can wrap it around so it holds, so that way when the water goes through, it doesn't erode the teeth of the pipe, you know? Like if you put a shower head on, it works the same thing. You just screw it on and off. It's so easy. But basically, yeah, the screw had popped out, and the thing was falling over, and I was trying to hold it up, and Claire's trying to hold it up, and we're trying to turn it in, and it's not screwing in, so Dad brings some Teflon tape, and we fixed one of the screws, but the other screw, like the inside of the TV where the threads are, where the teeth of the screw are supposed to screw in, I guess they're just on one of the screws, just completely like ripped off or something, because it just won't catch. So we were able to fix it. Don't worry, it's not going to fall over anytime soon, we hope. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. But yeah, that's why I was 20 minutes late to the stream, because my TV almost just fell over and broke entirely. Like, that would have been a good 6 to 7 feet fall where it just went flat and flipped over. We would have lost a pretty expensive TV today if we were any less lucky. So yeah, that's why I'm 20 minutes late to the stream. Anyways, the more important piece of business that I have to go over is the new Spider-Man No Way Home. Now, I am a huge Spider-Man fan. I mean, look, seriously. Look, I have 2 of these different Spider-Man jackets. One of them I can't find, but I'm probably going to buy a new one. Don't tell Claire. Yeah, I have my Spider-Man jacket that I got right after the first Spider-Man film, Homecoming, came out. I also have Spider-Man underwear on. Oh, you guys probably don't want to. You don't want to see that. You don't want to see my Spider-Man underwear. No, but I seriously do have Spider-Man underwear on. I also have this guy that I got at Universal Studios in Orlando. I think it was like $60, which, you know, I normally wouldn't spend that much on figures, but Spider-Man's my favorite comic book character, and this is like, it's really high quality. I mean, look at how good that looks. Look at that. I mean, it's only this much of it. You only get the top half of his torso, but get a mid thwip, which is good. Just mid thwip. So I am a huge Spider-Man fan, and I've liked pretty much all the Spider-Man films, at least like decently. The only one I didn't really like was Amazing Spider-Man 2. Like, I thought it was okay at best. Like, Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone were great in it, but the story was kind of, you could tell that the studio was very like, they were like, we gotta set up the Sinister Six, but that's a whole other thing. So before I start getting into spoilers, I'm just gonna warn everybody real quick right here. If you have not seen Spider-Man No Way Home, I am gonna spoil stuff right after I just tell you whether I like the film or not. And I'm gonna say it. This was really good. If you haven't seen it yet, go see it as soon as you can. Go see it as soon as you can. I understand everybody went to see this film, so if you couldn't see it this weekend, that's fine, but go see it in theaters. I'm gonna see it at least 2 more times, I think. This was great. I loved it. It was so good. So much fun. I really want to see it again. So let's actually get to the movie. Warning. Warning. Spoilers incoming. Warning. Warning. Spoilers incoming. So, you know, like I said, I'm a huge Spider-Man Spider-Man fan. I do not cart spoilers. I'm not likely to watch it anyways. Oh, you don't care about mute time. Thank you, Yuki. You're still staying here, but you're muting me. I'm totally okay with that. But anyway, so with this Spider-Man series, one thing that has always really bugged me is that Uncle Ben just does not exist in this universe. And that's always made me kind of mad. I get it, they didn't want to show Spider-Man's origin again because everybody knows Spider-Man's origin. But they never even mention Uncle Ben. That's one thing that's always pissed me off about these films. Like, it's always made me like them. Like, I've always really enjoyed the films, but it just always bugged me that they never mention Uncle Ben. Not even one time. They never even say his name. Yeah, Rip Big Boy Ben. They mention him in this film, and that's because for the reason that everybody expected, and I'll get into it. But let's go over to the here. Well, actually, I'll just stay here. This film was so much fun. If you've seen any of the trailers, you know more or less what's going to happen is the villains from the previous Spider-Man films, Doc Ock, played by Alfred Molina, Green Goblin, played by, oh, what's his name? Not James Franco. He was playing Harry Osborn. I'm forgetting his name. Just look up Sam Raimi, Green Goblin, and that's the actor. I'm forgetting his name. My brain, it's like right here. I can feel it. Anyways, we get Electro as Jamie Foxx. We get Sandman again. We got all the Spider-Man villains. And there's a part where people thought, because of the Venom 2 movie, we thought we were going to get Venom in this film. Spoilers. Venom's not in this film. There's a scene that looks like Venom's in the film, but he's not. He's not in the film. So if you're hoping to see Venom in this, you're not gonna see. Well, I mean, you sort of see him. That's all I can tell you. It's about drive. It's about power. We stay hungry. We devour. Put it in the family. It's about family. Damn it. But it was so much fun. This film. It was really beautiful. One of the things that I'm gonna say things I didn't like real quick. That way we can get to things I liked. There's only one thing I didn't like, and you know the famous iconic scene of what Uncle Ben says to Peter Parker. Can anybody say it? Type it in the chat. If you know it, you know it. Just type it in the chat. That scene, we don't get to see Uncle Ben say it because, like I said, this series does not mention Uncle Ben. Uncle Ben does not exist. It's only Aunt May, which at least they keep Aunt May, which was nice. But it always bugged me that they don't even, with great power comes great responsibility. They have Aunt May say it in the film. And, you know, it probably wouldn't make me so mad if it weren't for the fact that Uncle Ben is super important to Peter's character. And by taking away Uncle Ben saying it and giving it to Aunt May, it made me really, really mad at first. But then, but it's as she's dying, just like with Uncle Ben. It's literally Uncle Ben's scene, but with Aunt May. And, you know, with, but right after that scene, you know, Ned and MJ, Michelle Jones, you know, Peter's friends in this movie, they are trying to find Peter, and spoiler, turns out Ned can do magic, and he actually starts doing the portal thing that Doctor Strange does, and he's like, I need to find Peter Parker, and he opens a portal, and it looks like Spider-Man, and then the person who jumps through, Andrew Garfield, just like we all expected. Andrew Garfield jumps through, and he's like, I'm Peter Parker, and they're like, you're not Peter Parker, and he's like, prove you're Spider-Man, and he like clings to the wall, and he's hanging. It's like, crawl around. No, I think this is enough. No, please crawl around. I don't believe you. Really, you need me to crawl around? Like, me hanging like this is not enough? And then Ned's mom was like, could you please clean the webs up in the ceiling? And he's like, okay, and he crawls over and cleans it, and she's like, okay. And then they're like, find Peter Parker, and they look for another Peter Parker, and Tobey Mcguire jumps through this time. So yeah, Andrew and Tobey are in it. Everybody knew. Worst kept secret in Hollywood. Literally, I think we knew a year ago. And Andrew Garfield kept saying, I'm not in the film, not in the film. Fucking liar. You lied to me, Andrew. You get the Academy Award for lying on daytime television, but still, you lied to me. But, sorry, I was moving my heater. So anyways, we get Peter, all three Peters, and our Peter, Tom Holland, is, yeah, maybe getting rid of those people deciding what the movie plot isn't a bad idea. Oh, you mean the executives? No, honestly, overall, the film was actually really good. That scene made me mad, and then the next scene where we see all three Peters together, our Peter says, my aunt, I have to stop them, and I have to save them, because my aunt said, with great power, and then right after that, Andrew Garfield says, comes great responsibility, and he's like, how did you know what she said? And Tobey Mcguire said, my Uncle Ben said it. And then Andrew says, right before he died. So they mentioned Uncle Ben. They at least mentioned Uncle Ben, and it made my anger disappear, more or less. Like, I'm still annoyed at this series for not having their version of Uncle Ben, but they admit Uncle Ben is important to the character. That's what I've always wanted from them. If the series eventually admitted that Uncle Ben is important to Spider-Man, then they did. And they mentioned it twice. He's technically more important to Spider-Man than just Aunt May. I can't believe Thanos took the Ant-Man suit, shrunk, and went up Peter's bum. Hold up. But this film was like that. Like I said, when they had Aunt May say it, it made me mad, because it was like you took a scene from another character and just gave it to this one. But then later, they because both of the other Peters mention Uncle Ben and how important Uncle Ben was, and they also mention Gwen Stacy dying and how Peter couldn't save her, and it made him so mad, and so he stopped holding his punches back. And then they mentioned in the very first Sam Raimi Spider-Man film with Tobey Maguire how he killed the guy who killed his uncle, because Tom Holland's like, I want to kill the Green Goblin. He killed my aunt. I'm gonna kill him. And Tobey's like, you can't. You can't let that take you over. It doesn't fix anything. You don't ever feel better. You only feel worse. And the film, it was really good from beginning to end. I loved every scene pretty much, except for, I hated that one scene at first. I'm gonna watch it again. I want to see if I still am mad about it. I might feel different knowing what happens later. Jabasted, lol. But you know, my favorite scene, oof. That's really hard, because from beginning to end, I liked pretty much every scene. It was like at this level, like it starts kind of at this level, and then it just kind of goes like this, and it doesn't really stop going like this. But I would probably have to say my favorite scene was when all three Peters meet for the first time, and the two older Peters talk to the younger Peter and talk about their traumas and their tragedies and how they've dealt with them, and how you can't make the same mistakes as we did. We are you, but you also have to be better than us. And it was a really great scene. That was probably my favorite scene. Just seeing all three Peters for the first time, And then you get to see their quirkiness bouncing off each other, like being super, like they're all being super weird and quirky at different times. The credits are usually the best in my opinion, like the very last bit. Oh, okay. You're talking about like the end credit scenes? Those are fun. This end credit scene, by the way, spoiler if you're gonna go see it, it's just a trailer for Doctor Strange 2. So if you don't really want to see a trailer for Doctor Strange 2, don't stay till after the credits. If you do, don't stay. You know. I like the part where Peter told Peter which number they were, and finally they started working together. That was also a good scene. Personally, in my head, I would have had it be Tobey Maguire's Peter 1, Andrew's Peter 2, and Tom Holland is Peter 3 because of age. But it also made sense for Tom Holland to be Peter 1 because he's used to teamwork. Hi, Jamie. There's an MID credit, though. The mid-credit scene. Yeah, the mid-credit scene is good. The mid-credit scene is good. It's... If you've seen the credit scene from Venom that made everybody think that Tom Holland was going to go to the Venom universe, if you've seen that scene, you've basically seen... You've already seen it, except for, like, the last minute of it. Holland won because his universe, and Garfield third because he doesn't have a third movie. Oh, true. Pepe Hands got him. No, it didn't make me mad. I didn't hate that Tom Holland was Peter 1. I was just like, in my brain, I would have done it in this order, but it was fine. It worked out. It made sense. And, you know, they're all equally able to just be like, okay, it doesn't matter which way we do it. I'm really looking forward to what they continue to do with Spider-Man after this film. Although one of the dumb things I saw online, literally, by the way, I couldn't sleep last night. I don't know why I couldn't sleep. I'm probably on like 6 hours of sleep max, which is very little for me. Usually I sleep at least 8. And it's not even 6 hours straight because I went to bed at like 1:30. I woke up at 3:30, couldn't go to sleep again until 5:30, woke up at 8:30, fell asleep again until like 10:30. So I don't know, I can't even do the math right now. My head is tired. So I have like, my head's a little like stuffed right here because I couldn't sleep fully. But one of the posts I saw online, which is such a fake debate post, if you haven't seen the film, the post, what's your rating out of 267? Is 267 the highest or is that the lowest? That's the main question. But before I mention that, there was a post online. I'd probably put it in the 206, probably around 265 or higher. It's really good. It's really good. But there was a post online that said, Spider-Man No Way Home gives a huge hint that Ned will become the Hobgoblin, which is a discount version of Green Goblin the movie. 9 to 9.5 at the very least. It's really high up there for me. And the post, if you know who Hobgoblin is, you know who I'm talking about. If you don't, look him up real quick. He's basically just discount Green Goblin, where he's not as much of a threat, but he's still a threat, and he kind of does the same stuff Green Goblin does, but he cares more about just stealing stuff and making money. He doesn't want to terrorize everybody. And they said Ned is probably going to become Hobgoblin. The movie doesn't say that at all. There's literally a part where Tobey Mcguire is talking about how his best friend tried to kill him. And then Andrew Garfield says how his best friend tried to kill him. And Ned literally goes over to Tom and says, I promise I'll never become a villain and try to kill you. They literally say that in the film. And then by the end of the film, they prove that Ned learned magic. So it's less likely he'll become a villain for Spider-Man, but a villain for Doctor Strange. But I don't think he's even going to be a villain. Nah, he's going to be in Doctor Strange 3 to take over for Strange. Yeah, like that makes more sense to me than what this post said. I saw the title and I'm like, this is bullshit. And I read the comments and literally every other comment was like, this is bullshit. You're fucking lying. You know what you're doing. Like it's if you saw the film, you did not think that for a second. Although to be fair, there are people who have been thinking that Ned is going to become Hobgoblin. Yeah, it's because Ned is Hobgoblin in the comics. Yeah, that in one version of the comics, he was Hobgoblin for like a couple of years in real life time, I think. Like that, and people have been saying that since the first Homecoming movie. Like I've been seeing shit like that since the beginning. I'm like, no, there's no way. Like maybe, but they haven't shown it at all. And people are like, they were trying to like really push them like that. No. Remember, this is Marvel, ran by Lawsuit Mouse. Nothing makes sense. No, that's not actually completely true. Kevin Feige actually has a plan. He has a plan, and most things make sense. They do forget tiny details, but most major and important details will make sense by the time you get there. There has never been a movie where I'm like, this doesn't make sense at all. Him becoming Hobgoblin in the future would really F with Peter. It would F with Peter. And it could still happen with the way this movie ends, but I don't think it will. And just to explain, if you don't remember from the trailers, basically what happens is, because everybody knows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man now, him and MJ and Ned are not able to go to their school, MIT, or any other college, because they won't accept him because of controversy, which just shows that court of public opinion is stronger than an actual court, which is hasn't skull effed yet. They have not skull effed yet, not in my opinion, because I think of these as a separate universe. Like, it's not the main comic universe; it's their own it's another universe. I mean, they've already said it's like universe 9999999 whatever. So it's a multiverse. It's gonna have slightly different variations of the story. It doesn't have to be exactly the same, which is fine because some of the older comics have some really dumb shit. One More Day, by the way. Imagine Mickey Spider-Man. I mean, they're Spider-Ham, so they could do it. They're not going to, but they could. It's mainly that they're associated with someone, so that's so polarizing at the moment, so they don't want to touch that. More Matt Murdock. I know. Oh, yeah. That was a big scene, and we saw Matt Murdock, but John Campius leaked that picture like 3 weeks ago, and he's like, I didn't think it was real, and everybody's like, no, it looks real. The lighting on his shoes looks like that looks real. It doesn't look photoshopped. And so I knew that going into the film, that there was like a 75% chance we were going to see that scene. And then when we saw it, I was like, oh, yep, okay, John Campia fucked up and leaked some images. But what happened was, real quick, I'm just going to reiterate. So because everybody knows Peter Parker is Spider-Man, and they know that Aunt May, Happy Hogan, MJ, and Ned all worked with Peter to help him be Spider-Man. They were going to arrest them because of vigilantism and stuff like that. And but then he wasn't arrested because Matt Murdock saved him because he's a really good lawyer. And it was Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock, by the way. Look up who Charlie Cox is if you don't know. And then, but because he's Spider-Man, he didn't get into MIT, the school he wanted to go to. And so he goes to Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange is like, oh, why don't you, I have this spell where we can make everybody forget that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. But then he's like, oh, MJ should know. Oh, and Ned should know. And my Aunt May should know. It was really tough for her when it was really hard. I don't want to go through that again, having to tell her I'm Spider-Man. Oh, and Happy should know. And and because he messes it up 4 times, the spell ends up breaking and opening a tear to the multiverse. And that's how these villains, Alfred Molina, Green Goblin, Jamie Foxx's Electro, and Tobey Mcguire and Andrew Garfield, and a couple others that I'm not going to mention right away. It's how all of them come into the universe, because what's happening is the spell rewrote the world, and now everybody who knows Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and other universes are coming here to find Peter Parker, and they end up being teleported somewhere near our Peter Parker. But then they're like, you're not Spider-Man, you're not our Peter Parker, the ones who actually know him, because he doesn't look like him. There's even one of the trailers, Alfred Molina goes, wait a minute, you're not Peter Parker. And then Spider-Man, they're gonna send them back, but he learns that they're all gonna die. So he says, no, Doctor Strange, we can't do that. We can't just kill them. We can't do that. And because it's Aunt May's like, we have to save them first, then we can send them back. But because he ends up doing that, so basically the desire to keep a secret screwed over God knows how many people. Quite a few. It screwed over a few. But then what ends up happening is the only way to stop it, because it tears up even more, and more people are gonna come through to try and get Spider-Man. And so Tom Holland makes an ultimate sacrifice, and he says, all these people are coming because they want to find Peter Parker and Spider-Man, right? And he's like, yeah, can you do the spell one more time, but this time make everybody forget Peter Parker, who Peter Parker is, forever. And he goes, you know that if you do this, it'll be like you were never born. No one will know you, not even me. And it's like, it's fine. If it saves them, I'll do it. And so he ends up erasing his memory from everyone. Everybody remembers Spider-Man, but nobody knows Peter Parker anymore. His friends don't know him. His family doesn't know him. I mean, MA is dead at the time, so. But none of his friends know him anymore. Not even the other Avengers know who Spider-Man is. So he ends up, I got it to shake. Okay, lol. So the movie ends with him making the second biggest sacrifice you can make. The biggest one obviously being death, like Tony Stark, but this one's pretty close. I mean, I would say this is almost worse than death because at least when you're dead, people remember you. And as long as you're remembered, you'll never truly die. And because of this, he ends the film with, it ends up sending all the other people back as well. It ends up reversing all the problems with the spell because nobody's trying to find Peter Parker anymore. Peter Parker anymore. They're just, they all go back to their universes. And then the mid-credit scene is Tom Hardy, right? It's Tom Hardy as Venom. And he's sitting in a bar and he goes like, so you're telling me that everybody just disappeared for 5 years? Aliens aren't purple. Aliens are black and goo. And he said, it's like, well, I guess I got to find the Spider-Man guy. And then right as he's going to go find him, he disappears and goes back to his universe. And then you see on the table, there's a little piece of the Venom symbiote that got left behind. So, you know, probably in the next Spider-Man film, we're going to see true black suit Spider-Man, the Venom suit Spider-Man, and we'll actually get a Marvel Venom. And we know there's going to be another film because Kevin Feige confirmed there's going to be a Spider-Man 4. Because he didn't want people just going, is there going to be Spider-Man 4? What are we doing? He's confirmed it. I'm like a friend of mine told me and he usually gets pretty reliable sources. A friend of mine told me that they're confirming a Spider-Man 4, so we can look forward to that. And now, where am I going to put this film on my tier list? Because here's my old tier list of all the films. And you know, the weird thing is I haven't put a single Spider-Man film on S tier. Not a single one. He's my favorite character. I mean, I have the statue. Yeah, it's confirmed him and the Sony producer. Okay, so Sony and Disney are working together to make Spider-Man 4. Good to know. So Spider-Man, where do you think we should put him? Yeah. Got it. You know, I totally agree. I'm thinking Spider-Man No Way Home deserves S tier. It was that good. It was as good as Endgame for me, but in different ways. So I'm putting Spider-Man No Way Home in S tier. To be honest, this is easily the best Spider-Man film and easily top 5 MCU. I know, right? I agree with you. Actually goated movie, regardless of MCU. Yeah, it really is really freaking fantastic. There was only one thing that kind of bugged my brain a little bit is in I don't remember if this was in the film or if this was in I say F as in family level. Yes, it's family level. There was only one thing that kind of bugs me about the film, not the actual story or anything, but I keep seeing news postings that say Tom Holland's Spider-Man now playing in theaters, and my first thought is, this isn't even Tom Holland's Spider-Man. I mean, like, wouldn't it make more sense to say the directors? Or I get why they say Tom Holland, but my brain is like, he didn't write the film or direct it. He acted in it, and he is good. It is like he is the main character, but it's just weird. It's just weird to my brain to see Tom Holland's Spider-Man. If you know what I mean. If you know what I mean, it feels like it's giving all the credit to Tom Holland, which he deserves credit. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention is we get to actually see him act more than we have seen him in any other Marvel project. Because in pretty much every Marvel project, he's been, oh, I'm Peter Parker. I'm kind of a nerdy guy, but I've got my friends and my family, and I want to save people, and I got to try hard. I got to try my hardest. This time we actually get to see him have a different emotion besides just, I'm Peter Parker. He's like, I'm fucking gonna kill you, Green Goblin. Like, he's pissed. And I believe it. He showed more intense. Yeah, you can see, I kind of want to rewatch all the Spider-Man films before I watch this one again. Not all the Tobey Mcguire and just the 2 Tom Holland ones. Just so I can see how he improves with each Spider-Man film. Garfield was really good too. Garfield was good. The only thing about Garfield for me was when he first showed up. If you've seen Tick, Tick, Boom, which if you haven't seen Tick, Tick, Boom, it's a really good movie, especially if you like musicals. But when he first showed up, he was kind of acting like his character in Tick Tick Boom, which isn't bad because he was acting it well, but he kind of had like the kind of flamboyant feel of the character he was playing in Tick Tick Boom. It's not like a whole bunch, but it was like a subtle, I was like, he kind of feels like this other character. But that's because he was probably filming them at the same time. So, he had, yep. This was, Tobey Maguire was really good too. It was nice to see him again. He actually felt like an older, like a Peter who had gone through more and had been doing it for a lot longer. Like, so one of the problems with the older Sam Raimi Spider-Man films is he always felt a little like unsure of himself, kind of like I don't know if I'm gonna, I don't know if I can be good enough. I don't know, guys. But in this one, he's like, I am Spider-Man. I know how to be Spider-Man. I know what to do. I have a plan. Holland is my favorite, but I think Garfield embodies the quippy Spider-Man. Yeah, he embodies the quippiness of Spider-Man the best. Tobey Maguire embodies the kind of loner part of Spider-Man really well from his early days, and then Tom Holland kind of embodies the like a good balance between the two a little bit better. Although he doesn't quip as much in this series, but he does kind of talk a lot, and then it annoys them equally as much. So he does it. He's a good balance. And top 10 Marvel successes since 2015. Are you asking me to list the top 10 since 2000? That's a really weird, random number to pick, by the way. That's after Avengers, but right before Avengers 2. I just chose a random year. Yeah, it's really weird place to pick. I can't really tell you right now off the top of my head, but I can tell you this is definitely up there. This is amazing. I really like this film. I'm gonna go see it again. Guys, let me know if you saw the film. What did you think? Tell me down below in the comments, and we'll come back to this another time. I'm looking forward to what they do with this character. I like how he's starting off fresh again, and he has to start from scratch. My only question is, did he tell? I feel like he should have told Doctor Strange what happened. Just be like, hey, it's me, Spider-Man. I'm Peter Parker. I know you don't remember me. We did a spell to erase my memory. I don't know, unless that would screw stuff up, but I don't think it would. I don't know. We'll see. Mcguire and Doc Ock, you're all grown up. Oh, true. Happy hands. All right, guys. We'll see you next time. And remember, don't believe in yourself. Believe in me, who believes in you. Bye-bye. Hey everyone, thanks for watching the tier list from my Monday stream. If you want to join in live, click the link to my Twitch channel in the description. If you liked the video, please click that like button. And if you want to see more, click that subscribe button. I'll see you all next time. Have a wonderful day.